What's going on, everyone? So we're about to watch this sparring footage from Floyd Mayweather. This is completely raw, and let's go. So that's a nice half-step jab. Mayweather kind of just brushes it off. You can tell here in the beginning, I did see the first 30 seconds or so of this, and Mayweather's just really staying defensive mostly and staying behind. Nice kind of high guard. Just kind of baiting out his opponent's jab a little bit. I believe the other person is Jarvis. I'm not too familiar with him. If it is who I'm thinking it is, this person may be a YouTuber, but also looks to have some legitimate boxing ability and skills. Like, he doesn't look like some kind of amateur at all. He looks like he's been doing this for quite some time. So back to the actual footage. So Jarvis is trying to land his jabs on Mayweather. Threw a 1-2 just before as well. But Mayweather's just essentially taking away his jab. So this is a great bit of educational information for any fighter out there looking to compete. You want to take your opponent's weapons away from them, right? And as you can see, Mayweather's not only using his rear hand parry. Very, very nice pull counter right there. He's not only using his parry, he's not just slipping, he's using lateral movement, footwork. Even when he's up against the ropes, he was able to avoid the jab. And we just saw he just did a pull counter. So he's having multiple different ways to defend against his opponent's jab. He doesn't just pick one. And now here, he's just using his Philly a little bit, shoulder rolling, and allowing his opponent just kind of throw, and he's just using his shoulders to block the backhand. And again, look at that. Now he's stabbing to the body. So see, once he's established his defense and he's able to really kind of take away his opponent's jab, then you're going to start seeing him get more offensive. Look at that. Very, very nice. So there's little things that I will be going back to and freeze framing and really getting in deep analysis with. But Mayweather is just essentially taking away his opponent's jab, and once the opponent feels deterred, like he feels like he can't use his jab, it's kind of hard for him to essentially land anything, because he's using that jab as an information finder, range finder, measurements, trying to time everything with that jab. And now Mayweather's dominating him with his own jab. So that's the tables have turned now. So once Mayweather has taken away his opponent's best weapon, which is the jab, he's kind of flustered. He kind of doesn't know exactly what to do because he's already tried and failed to establish his jab, and he's getting countered for it as well. So based off that, it's really kind of hard for him to use any other weapons. You can see he's using lead hooks rather than using his jab again, which is a bad move. I mean, it's kind of hard. I understand that he's getting popped by Mayweather, so it's kind of hard for him to go back to the jab, but he's better off sticking with the jab than going for power punches off the rip. Now he's trying to corner him, and he's not really throwing anything. His hands are down, and Mayweather is just dancing around and chilling on the outside at this point. But it's good that Jarvis went back to his jab. Mayweather's just using lateral movement here. He's taking it easy. Jarvis is still trying to figure out a way to kind of cut off. But he's finally trying to do lateral movement, cut off the ring. Before, he was following Mayweather a bit.
Get in there, youngster. Get in there. For what? 30 seconds. Bums, 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 bums. I ain't boxing since last year. I'm so cold. I'm almost 50 years old. I'm cold. Yes, sir. See, I already beat him up this round, so now I move for the rest. My good legs.
So I wanted to get into a little bit of why Mayweather is so dangerous as a fighter. So, he's playing around here with Jarvis a little bit. He's not really taking sparring overly serious. He's still getting some good work and all that. But what makes him so dangerous, all right, besides the relaxation, the vision, his choices and intelligence, he's taking away a person's offensive weapons and leaving them with nothing to really work with. And once you do that, it kind of deters them from doing anything else. So that's really what allows him to set up so many counters and so much of his offense. But we also notice that Mayweather doesn't use just one guard. We see him use high guard right now. He's hands down, and this is kind of allowing him to kind of have a better upper body mobility as well. So he's able to really slip and roll punches very easily at this point. But that's because he's already got his opponent's speed and his opponent's offensive options dialed in. You see there, he's able to hit him with a nice little cheeky right hand. And it's hard to see that coming from such a low angle. All right, now he's just establishing his jab again and fighting with hands down. He started with hands completely up in high guard. Now his hands are all the way down at his waist, right? And now he's picking it up a little bit. Now he's baiting. He's baiting him a little bit here and trying to get counters off at this point. Especially if you see him lean forward over his lead leg, he's trying to bait and trying to get his opponent to commit to something so he can spring back and then come back with his own counter. So right here, he's just kind of posturing, hands down. And again, he's coming from weird angles because his hands are so low. But see right there, he's able to get a little bit of a shot. Nothing too crazy. Good jab again. And I got to say, look, this Jarvis kid, he's good. He's really good. Like, he's going up against Floyd Mayweather, so plenty of people will be like, yeah, he's getting schooled and all this kind of things. I mean, Mayweather is a rare kind of boxer. He's not just like a normal type of boxer. He really is a person that has sharpened the blade to a ridiculous point. Like, he's been doing it so long. Like, his body's just naturally attuned to it. He's never stopped training. He's always in the gym. He's always working out. He's always working on something. He's staying in shape. He's fought in front of millions of people. Like, he's done everything in the sport. So he's super relaxed. This kind of thing is just fun. It's just fun for him at this point. So I have to take my hat off to Jarvis, because even though he may not be landing a ton of blows or anything like that, he's still being in there, being competitive, showing different looks. And essentially, Jarvis is just upgrading his own knowledge by having this kind of work with a high-level talent like Floyd Mayweather. So, really can't take anything away from him at all. All right, we're in round 3 of the sparring here. Now he's throwing some feints, right? So Jarvis is now throwing a lot more feints a little bit. He's doing that lead step feint there, just stepping forward with the front leg and then trying to set something up. Now there, I couldn't tell if that landed flush or not, but it was very close. Mayweather's jab really popped his head back there, so we see it there. But again, some gamesmanship. I think they're just having fun. This is not like a heavy kind of spar. This isn't like a kill or be killed kind of spar, like one of those gym war kind of spars. This is more of a, light spar, working on setting up techniques, everything like that. I can even tell that when Mayweather's hitting him, he's not going as full-blooded with the punches as he could. I've seen Mayweather crack people, so and that's another thing too. Despite a lot of people saying he's a runner and all these other kind of things and talking about his defense all the time, Mayweather could crack, especially when he was at lighter weight classes. He used to be able to crack, really hurt guys, get them out of there. He had a lot of pop on his punches. Like, believe it or not, earlier in his career, people were considering Mayweather more of like a knockout puncher. Not devastating like Mike Tyson, but he was explosive enough to really hurt guys and put them away.
Come on. Be a camera. Come on.
So again, it's more gamesmanship here. Nice jab. You know, I think this is the issue. So the real issue with Jarvis, why he's getting popped with a lot of these shots, is that he's now entering into mid-range and he's not showing anything. Like when you're in mid-range, that is the danger zone. That's what I call it. When you get into mid-range, you have to be throwing something. You have to be defensively responsible. You can't just kind of stay and hang out in the mid-range. Like that's where a lot of the action happens. You know, it's pretty much you're in the pocket at that point. You know, right here, it's like they're a little bit in long range. Now we're in mid-range again. So this is mid-range here. And look at that. Mayweather barely even had to step into that punch to land it. That's how you know they're definitely deep in the mid-range. You know, when you're at long range, you probably have to do more of a half-stepping jab or a full-step jab to close the distance. But here, we see that a lot of the times that, one, Mayweather's dialed in, so he's able to see the punches coming from a mile away a bit. But also, Jarvis is kind of loading up on shots, and he's just not prepared to deal with the counters once he gets into mid-range. Like, you got to know that once you're in mid-range, you got to be defensively responsible. Like, punches are coming back. The other guy's not just waiting there and chilling out, even though Mayweather seems to be doing so. Again, this is the fourth round. I believe this is the last round that was picked up on film. Not sure if it went longer than this, but again, got gamesmanship from Mayweather. And all of this, Mayweather's getting prepared for an exhibition match with Liam Harrison, a very good, very reputable kickboxer. So, you know, I'm guessing he's using this to sharpen things up and I guess kind of continue to connect with the YouTube community, especially boxing a YouTuber who has like about 5 million subscribers, I believe. So that should probably help his brand out a little bit. Both men as well. At this point, you know, Mayweather is not even like, this is almost just like a showcase, the reason why he put this up online is because this wasn't like a super serious kind of spar. This is definitely one of those kind of showcase kind of sparrings that you just get the media there, you get a little bit of hype built up, but his jab is as sharp as ever, you know. And the thing is, it's two skilled people stepping in the ring. You know, it'd be different if this young man Jarvis had literally zero skills. Like, you can tell he has skills, but he's just not of the level of Mayweather. Not at all. You know, he's clearly not at all at the level, but he's still well trained, still has some good potential, good pop on his punches. Decent, you know, when he gets his hands up and he's able to kind of read things, he has decent defense as well. So kid is good. And now Mayweather went to southpaw. Oh, my goodness. You see, when Mayweather used to do that as well. He used to go southpaw a lot in his earlier fights and just kind of try to see what look he can get out of the opponent. And he would stay there for rounds and rounds, like not even just for, you know, just showboating. Like, he would actually try to fight from southpaw. And that became more and more rare as he got a little older, more advanced in his career. So we see Mayweather's back in that classic guard. It's not even a Philly yet. You know, he's not even a full Philly. He just has that lead hand low and just kind of popping with jabs. Good rush from Jarvis. Like, I think if Jarvis had more stamina, like, he would actually be able to put or give Mayweather more work. Because I believe that a sustained offense would, you know, that would be Jarvis's best move to get the most out of the sparring, like, especially since it's the last round. Like, he wants to just put as much effort out there as possible and just empty the tank. Well, this is the last round that we saw. I'm not sure if it's the last round of the actual sparring, but he'd want to really empty the gas tank. So just dancing now, dancing on the outside. Like, Mayweather's just having fun at this point. Like, you know, from the analysis I can see, like what we can conclude is that Mayweather's still sharp, reflexes are still there, still has the great IQ, you know, appears to have great stamina. Like his stamina has never left because he's always working. You know, his knees are still there too, so that's pretty impressive, right? He's able to bounce around like this. Like he looks like a young man when you see him spar. He doesn't look like he's washed out or shop worn whatsoever. And he's making the young man look, you know, completely out of his league, which he is. So just a couple of more things I wanted to look at from this sparring. And, so Mayweather is just having fun, essentially. He's up here. This is the first round again. He's using the ropes and just leaning up against the ropes. And he does different guards, low guard to the Philly to a little bit of a high guard. And then he's out of there. And now he's dancing once again. So here's a great sequence here. As he's just pulling back, he's baiting Jarvis, right? So he's baiting him. He's leaning forward over the lead leg a little bit, getting his head forward as a target. Jarvis kind of takes the bait and he telegraphs big. He drops that lead hand before he goes in, and he gets caught with a nice pull counter because of that telegraph. So right here in this sequence is very beautiful. You're going to see Mayweather do a full step jab, control with his lead hand, which opens up the opportunity for him to drop that cross in there, get Jarvis backing up a little bit. And then again, we see the defense on display as he slips inside the jab and is able to set up this liver shot. So he's able to do this because now he has Jarvis a little bit confused, doesn't really want to follow up with too much offense. And Jarvis, he knows that he's just kind of relying on Jarvis's jab. Like that's all he's throwing out there. And based on that, he's able to calculate and come up with different offensive counters and plans. So this sequence is also pretty beautiful. He gets Jarvis's range by Jarvis throwing his jab again, and then he springs off the back foot and goes right into a cross, right into control game immediately afterwards, and keeps controlling and throwing offense at like one after the other. Jarvis is able to land a little bit of a cheeky uppercut there, but it does no real damage. So this was a pretty fun kind of breakdown off the cuff. You know, I really enjoy doing analysis on fights and training, everything like that. So expect to see more training analysis, more breakdowns, more fight analysis, and sparring analysis as well. And I'll catch you in the next one, guys.